on. And secondly, what did you say? You said something about my words, but I forgot now.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm ready for you.
All right, bro. We're going to go and start off with our first match. Of course, 5 matches for this best of, well, each best of 3, but for this group stage. Jeez, my line's in the gutter right now. Suppy versus Xigua will be our first match. Alicia versus Moonglade will be our second. We have winners, losers, and of course the decider to find out who are the top 2 to move on into Premier League. Loser, unfortunately, goes out of what the heck is going on? Oh.
I don't know.
Sorry, I have stuff open. Anyway, let's jump into the first game because it's already loaded up. It's going to be on Akalon Waste. Xigua versus Suppy. Do it.
Let's do it.
All right, cats. I'm going to let you just introduce everybody today.
Oh, not everybody. Let's take turns or
Okay.
something. Well, that's a really cool decal by Suppy, by the way.
You want to do Suppy first?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
On the bottom right-hand corner, the red Zerg. Does anyone else by chance? Suppy!
Suppy! I'm a team player, cats.
Thank you, Andre. That was perfect.
Appreciate it. All right. And spawning in the top left-hand corner. Didn't pick this gaming guy. It is not watermelon. It's Xigua! Wow, that's sick, man.
Sick, right?
All right, DVZ, I guess this is where you take it away. Thankfully, we have
All
Zergs
right.
in this group.
Yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. I really enjoy casting Zerg because I know what's going on. So we're gonna have Suppy with what looks like a 14 pool and no gas yet. Xigua is looking to go for a 15 hatch, which is also pretty standard. So it doesn't look like Suppy's trying to apply any pressure here. He is probably just playing safe and making sure that he's not gonna get beat up by any early pools, which are quite common on this map. But I'm surprised he didn't take any gas yet because his pool was at 14 and not 15. And 15 pool is a little bit more standard and still pretty much safe against everything. So he's just gonna go for a hatch behind this, and yeah. Oh, okay, this is a really early gas by Xigua. So it's really, really likely, Andre, that Xigua will be applying the pressure here. And this is a great map for pressure, but Suppy's gas is by no means late. So he should be able to hold everything just fine. The reason for which this map is a really good map for aggression is that the ramp is so far away from the natural that queens have a really tough time walking there off of creep to block the ramp. So we'll see how this game shapes up.
You'll find out. Is that 20 seconds really going to be enough for the extractor timings? Like, he'll have 20 seconds faster on metabolic boost. That's what it basically means.
Yeah, that should be fine. I think what matters most is the banelings, and the time that the banelings take to morph should give Suppy plenty of time to get his own banelings out.
Okay.
Provided that they don't mess up any timings.
Everything pretty standard. 15 hatch versus 14 pool, 15 hatch. We talk about this a lot, but we always say 15 hatch is a little bit ahead. Do you know what a little bit ahead actually is in terms of numbers? How many drones maybe, what it might be?
Well, it's, I mean, you get the creep, you get maybe an extra drone or a little bit faster of a drone, a little bit more larva at times. It's just a slightly better position, but also you forfeit the early scouting that Suppy's doing right now, right? Like, if Xigua wanted to be really aggressive, it's a lot harder to scout for him, especially because Suppy did a really good job of delaying Xigua's scout. So it's pretty much even. It's really hard to pinpoint like a decisive advantage off of a hatch first against a 14 or 15 pool.
Suppy not able to see that extractor, so he won't get a good cast count to see if it's going to be increased baneling pressure. But both players playing it pretty standard. Suppy realizes that it's a little bit dangerous, so throws down that banelingness right away. But we do see a non-baneling variation coming out of Xigua. What's this all about?
He's definitely going to be applying pressure with a lot of links. His speed is going to be done. So all those larvae are probably going to be morphed into links now. And he's going to try and test Suppy. Yeah. Suppy, like you said, did not scout the gas timing. So he might try to get away with not making a lot of links, but he's actually making 6. He's being really safe.
Cats.
So,
this kind of reminds me of the old Wings of Liberty cats build that you used to do. You used to do a lot of just straight up zergling pressure. Like this back in the day, 2011, I think.
Yeah, I really like circling pressure, but I like to get like +1 carapace behind it. I've always liked that. I don't know, the just circling pressure feels a little bit risky to me, because if Suppy identifies it, and he already did, and morphs enough banelings in time, then he's gonna take a pretty decisive lead.
This is going to be an all-in, though. Roach Warren and Evolution Chamber going down behind this Zergling pressure. We'll see if Suppy's able to fend this off well enough. Zergling's getting to the high ground. This is kind of looking hashtag dicey already. Not looking
Yeah,
position
a little
Suppy.
bit. It's all about how many drones Suppy is gonna lose here. Losing a few more than he already wanted to, probably. This Baneling though connects, and that was not the greatest micro by Xigua. This, he might follow it up by a Roach timing. I'm not sure that he has any intention of dropping a lair. There goes a second gas. Still mining off of one from the main though.
That's pretty sick, man. Okay, so what I gather from this, based on how Suppy responded to this, he was gonna go Roaches just for defense, and instead of the Baneling Nest, obviously, and just get the +1 Carapace as soon as possible. I've never seen this variation in ZVZ.
Yeah, Suppy's actually gonna be able to do a lot of damage. Great read by Suppy, or at least, you know, like he's using the links that he made, and he made more than he actually needed to, and that was on purpose, because he, you know, like he saw how much damage like Xigua was gonna do, and Suppy just decided, okay, it looks like you don't have any Banelings, so if you don't have Banelings now, I doubt that you're getting Banelings after. So that was pretty smart choice, and right now he didn't do quite as much damage as I was thinking, because Xigua was also making links already preemptively. So they're pretty much even, except Suppy's gonna have a lead in the tech, yeah, and she was gonna have a little bit of a lead in the economy department.
Yeah, they both go down relatively the same time, so I think Suppy, his main goal right now is to deny that third base from popping up, because you don't want that economic advantage, and then let the mutas really take charge. But oh wow, this is really bad. But again, Banelings will be there. Yeah, this is really, oh gosh, the Spire's gonna be targeted down. Really nice pick off by Xigua, and he should be able to pick it up. No,
wow,
holy moly.
that was an amazing save by Suppy. And she were really committed to that attack. That had to be a little bit confusing for Suppy, because he scouted the Roach Warren. So he was probably expecting a Roach push, maybe even an all-in. So drops a lot of Spike Rollers, which is the right choice. But instead, Xigua just made more links once again, and they're kind of playing mind games at this point with,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it really is.
Would you ever put that into your play? Just throw down a Roach Warren because?
Well, I don't think it was just because. I think, like you said, it was mostly for defense, since he took the gases eventually, or maybe an all-in if it went completely unscouted. Yeah. So I think it had a purpose, but he decided against using it when he saw a window of opportunity. Maybe he has experience doing this sort of thing. It's one of those things that, you know, you can find out trends in how players react to certain things. And in this position, maybe he thought, okay, he just attacked me with a bunch of links. He saw my Roach Warren. He might prepare for Roaches, so I'll hit him before that with links.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good read by Xigua. But mutas are now.
Yeah, that's gonna pretty much give dominating control, although the third base is down for a lot longer for Xigua. We'll see if he can actually do something with this.
Yeah, the third base of Suppy is gonna get denied. And all Xigua has to do is make sure that he has a good economy, and then probably transition into Roach Hydra Infestor. Looks like he's getting the Hydras first. I don't mind that. I usually prefer Infestors first of a few more Queens. It just feels like it leads to a more stable game. Because I don't like going up against, say, mutas with Banelings, and it's really hard to get both Infestors and Hydras. But we'll see. Suppy's actually opting to go into Roaches himself. So this is actually a really, really, really good spot for Xigua.
Xigua trying to dart into the third base yet again, but nothing's going to happen now. Suppy for himself trying to do some damage, but a single Spore Crawler probably shuts all of that down with that Queen. Yeah, that's only 8 mutas. Sadly, the single Spore Crawler can just solo that pretty easily. But overall, I mean, we have the economic situation in favor of Xigua, although he needs to materialize, and he's trying to do that as best as possible, but the mutas are floating all over the place. Things look good for Xigua so far.
Yeah, they really do. Suppy has to decide what he wants to do here. He does have those 4 spines, which are going to allow him to transition into Infestors. It looks like that's what he wants to do. So I think that's a pretty good choice, because if he can hold the next wave, then he could very much stabilize.
Yeah. It's all going to come down to this first fight, right? For Suppy especially, if he can stabilize or not. Now Roach is going to dart in. Are they going to just go for the third base? Wow, that's really clever.
Yeah, and that Baneling was so important. There was so many links and only one Baneling for Suppy. This third's definitely gonna fall. Xigua will end up losing his army eventually. I don't even like that Suppy's fighting right now with the roaches and links because the third is gonna go down anyways. So wasting those units, there's very little use to that.
Yeah, might as well just wait until they make a move against the spine crawlers or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So just do damage with the Muta. But I mean, it ended up working good for him because Xigua didn't actually try to trade. He tried to run away for some reason, which was just not a good idea. Xigua does have a better army composition than Suppy does for the time being, but Suppy could still stabilize. I would like for him to maybe drop an extra base even.
Well, there is right now a supply lead for Suppy, so maybe he's thinking this is the timing that he has to take, seeing as, you know, Xigua lost a lot of units in that, but we'll see if he can actually do something with this. Roaches against Roach Hydra, not looking too good. Suppy just going to back up from here, realizing that's a lost cause. But what does Suppy really do from here? I mean, it's so difficult in this position to come back, especially in ZVZ. I think it's the most unforgiving matchup for Zerg.
Yeah, if you look at the spines, I mean, he was planning to go all in. Now he sees that he can't break him, so he's pulling back. But he never actually made the infestors that you know, he was already upgrading for. So there's no transition for Suppy here. She was gonna be able to pick up those spines, and then either decide to take a fourth himself, which he already is, or kind of go all in on this. He doesn't want to fight with the Hydras until he gets more roaches.
Yeah, you need more buffer, right? Just more space in between. Well, he's closing on in. And maybe he just even feels confident right now. 172 supply to 132. This is not looking so good for Suppy, although he is getting Baneling speed. 18 Banelings on the way. That can be the unit that can really even things up if he gets good connections onto those Hydras. Baneling speed isn't finished just yet, but the Baneling... Oh my god! 0 splits.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake by Xigua. Now Suppy is pretty much stabilized for free. I mean, those Banelings killed like pretty much all the Hydras, all the DPS in Xigua's army. So he was probably looking away for Suppy is actually ahead.
Yeah, this is kind of like the style that abuses the Chinese latency, honestly.
Yeah, those were slow Banelings though, so there's little excuse. He was just looking away and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if it was speed Banelings, then maybe.
That's just right, like they can't really split that well there.
I guess so.
But we don't know just yet. Anyway, yeah, things even up quite a bit. You know, Roach Hydra counts are going to be reset. Mutas probably aren't going to be invested into any more infestors on the way, though, instead of Hydras. Now, we've seen this a lot of times in Wings of Liberty, and in Heart of the Swarm, we don't see it nearly as much. And I think a lot of Zergs have kind of said you're just putting yourself in potential timing situations where you can just be absolutely crushed by Roach Hydra. How do you feel about Roach Hydra against Roach Corruptor, or excuse me, Roach Infestor?
I think Roach Infestor is still pretty much, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty doable. On a map like this, I usually prefer Roach Hydra just because it's so wide open.
Yeah.
So it's hard to hit those like critical fungals. But if you're going to be in a defensive position, maybe just taking this pocket fourth or something like that, and then just, you know, hold up a ramp or with spines like Suppy had earlier, then infestors can be a better transition into the late game because you'll eventually get the Hydras anyways, just like your opponent will eventually get the infestors, but you'll have more energy. So,
does Xigua change his army composition after seeing the Banelings, or does he stay on this composition, just try to micro it?
I would really add infestors if I was Xigua. Let's open the production tab. Yeah, it doesn't look like he has an infestation pit anywhere. He's actually not mining very efficiently off of his main, but I guess it doesn't matter because he's on 4 base now.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, he eventually needs to add something else. It looks like he's pretty much all in on this. He needs an infestation pit, whether it's for 3/3 or whether it's for Vipers or whether it's for infestors. Just staying on Roach Hydra is not ideal. I would give the heavy edge to Suppy here.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of Banelings. Let's take a look at the units tab. 23 Banelings so far, 7 infestors coupled with that. And things are looking a little bit #dicey as we move into the second major fight. We'll find out. Fungaros are going to connect really nicely, but the Banelings need to get forward. Holy moly.
Yeah, and they do. And not the greatest position for Suppy at the start of the fight. He was already up the ramp. You usually want to hold a larger concave. But if he trades and keeps his infestors, which looks like it's what's going to happen, he's now in a pretty strong lead, I would say. Even though he doesn't have a fourth yet, they're pretty much mining the same amount of minerals and gas.
Yeah, not only that, he keeps his infestors alive. I mean, that's probably one of the most important things. How many times do you see the same engagement happen and infestors die? I mean, having those alive just means that you have snowball effect a little bit later on. Not only do you... Well, you can add additional infestors, but that's a lot of supply that you can just not have to worry about. And, of course, they get better over time. So we'll find out how Xigua actually deals with this.
I mean, I think he's doing the best thing that he can do and the smartest thing that he can do. He's already committed to Roach, Hydro, Viper, and he already wasted the energy on the infestors. So he feels like he has to continue attacking, and I don't blame him. It would be really hard to stabilize or get anything else, even though he does have a large bank of gas at least.
Oh, Fungal Growth is going to make a very nice concave over here for Suppy, and yet again he gets some very cost-efficient trade, but now, here's when things get a little bit complicated. Roach is over to the 4th base and the 3rd base over here, and this could kill a lot of drones, but drones aren't really the problem. It's that army that you really have to worry about with the Roach infestors. I mean, they're getting alarmingly large, and Xigua still doesn't have the right response to any of these units. Suppy might be thinking about moving across the map. He still needs to kill a couple of these Roaches before he's completely done, but still, Xigua against the ropes, it almost feels like. Even though he's the one aggressing.
Yeah, he's not really transitioning into anything. So I mean, as soon as Suppy's already maxed, so he's just gonna push and win.
132 supplied to 200, and it looks like Banelings in that beginning stage worked out really, really nicely, even though they're slow. Xigua did not micro at all. Now we're in a very, very uncomfortable situation for our Chinese pro player. Roaches barreling in now, and the end is near. Cats, the writing is on the wall.
The writing, Suppy takes game 1.
GG.
GG. And yeah, I think, I don't know, if you could resume from replay and just take over in that one fight, it could be a completely different game if he just like split his Hydras up a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, do you think that is just a response to the Chinese latency at this point, or is that just a standard thing to do? Because I don't know, I feel like mid-game Banelings do have a sort of place. We saw Sen do that in WCS Season 3 Premier League Round of 16. I haven't seen it nearly as much from a lot of ZVZs, although I don't think I've seen a lot of ZVZs lately in Super Pro level play. There just haven't been many Zergs. But how do you feel like Roach Baneling really adds into the composition these days? Like, is it the right thing to do these days?
A lot of the time it is. I mean, it's a pretty standard build in Korea as far as CVZ goes. Just because even in maps that have like the little path blocker thingies, you can surprise your opponent with banelings even if they're going infestors. But for the most part, like you mentioned before, it's more common to go for Hydra Roach, and then Roach Baneling is amazing against that composition. Even against pure Roaches, Banelings can be pretty cost efficient and most importantly supply efficient. So once, you know, say both players are just making Roaches over and over and over and over, if you can make your last 20 or so supply in Banelings, then that's going to be much better than having the extra 10 Roaches.
So is this going to be like a rock, paper, scissors thing in ZVZ where it's Roach Hydra beats, I would say, Roach Infestor, but then Roach Infestor, wait, is that right?
Yeah,
wait.
Roach Infestor.
Yeah, and then Roach Infestor beats Roach Baneling, and